Brandon Laurie pulled out an awesome clip from Micah's media session, though, talking about Trevon Diggs, who Calvin Watkins wrote about this morning in the morning news. We'll talk about that story as well. But here was Micah.
I think it's extremely difficult for Diggs. And, I almost, I actually had to fly out there to check on him because he was like, bro, you got to come visit me. I think he was getting a little lonely. But, I went out there to check on him, man, and, the things that I felt like he wasn't doing, I got on him, and the things that he was doing, I support him. I think, that's one person, even when we went to work out, I was like, oh, no, you owe me some more sets. Like, I want you to – it's your comeback play. I want you to be comeback player of the year, and I think in his case, I don't think he reaches out to a lot of people. A lot of people don't understand him, and that's okay because I was like, yo, I understand you. I know where you at right now. And I'm here for you. I don't want nothing from you. Like a lot of people might want something from you. I was like, I don't want anything from you. I'm here to strictly support you and be there for you throughout your time. And so, just throughout that process, man, just seeing where he's at and just seeing his mentor, I think, at the end, he kind of wrote me a message for my birthday. And he didn't tell me in person, but he wrote me how much he appreciated that I came out there and uplifted him, man. So, and he don't really show a lot of emotion. It's hard to get more than a couple words out of him. So just to get that message from him, it meant a lot for me just as a friend. So, I'm happy that he's in a bright spot. He's doing better. And I'm just hoping he has the year that he wants to. It's just now I'm telling him he got to kick it to overdrive now. I say no more excuses.
Talked about him maybe winning comeback player of the year. That would be awesome. But, the crowd laughed when he said maybe he was getting lonely. Like, ha, 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 yeah, right, a famous football player in Florida getting lonely in the summer. But I think that was genuine. And I think that showed that, he felt I needed to go check on this guy. And, I think that maybe that's the leadership and that's the Schotty culture. Isn't that?
It is. I mean, when he had the goodnight calls, Osa Odigizua mentioned something similar to that. Like, this is what I needed. This is what I needed for my mentals, just like checking up on me. That goes a long way. And I think you don't have to be a professional football player. Yeah. I think that could go a long way just for all of us, right? Yeah. Check on your loved ones. Check on your friends. I know I'm guilty of that. I probably don't do that enough. I probably don't call my sister enough, call my dad enough, call whoever it might be. How are you doing? I'm thinking about you. I'm there for you. Everybody's going through something, and even those that are rich and famous and you think their lives are incredible, they're dealing with crap as well. Yeah, a lot of, I think there's a big misconception that they don't have any problems because all the pressure they're dealing with. They don't know if they're going to be on the roster. The family's looking to them to pay this or pay that. And if it falls apart all of a sudden, so you have like the 8 to 12 guys on every football team that have generational wealth. After that, it's guys making high hundreds of thousands, which after you buy a home, you can be underwater and thinking, I need the next contract to create wealth for after playing, or I'm going to go from playing to immediately start working. And you can see if you're paying attention. The older I've got, and I've gone through experiences myself, it's been easier to see. But you can tell that some of these guys are really going through it. And it would be great to know that you're on a football team that is receptive to that instead of the old style of what do you have to be bummed out about? Pick your head up and go get them. That kind of deal. That's pretty toxic.
How would you guys feel about one of these check-in calls? Does it have to be just a regular call, or could we do a little FaceTime check-in? You guys comfortable with a bro-on-bro FaceTime?
Yeah. I don't do a lot of FaceTime.
See, this is where...
Yeah. But I could be open to it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take that call probably.
I'll answer it.
Walchuk will be shirtless on his recliner in front of 3 televisions watching all the sports.
Exactly. That's when
probably
it's like
have
crap.
Maybe a tub of ice cream sitting there if he's really down bad, or maybe he's up super good and it's a celebration ice cream. But I love a good FaceTime from time to time.
You do like your FaceTimes.
Yeah.
See, these are the kind of jokes, Chief, why people won't pick up the call.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But maybe I just need to get used to the FaceTime
backwards on that one.
Maybe we've just moved on from the phone call to the FaceTime.
I don't know.
Yeah, let me
progress.
Let me see that face, dude. Let me lock eyes with you.
See you
as I check in on your mentals.
Well, salute to Micah for having the skills, whether it's on the phone or in person, to get that done and pick his guy up, and hopefully Diggs does have the big bounce back here.
Yeah, this is obviously speculative, but you might be pretty down bad when you're in a place where I don't even want to go out there and collect my $500,000 that is owed to me.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean?
That's
like
that depression.
I mean, and maybe it's because you're up so good and you're like, no, I can afford to just sort of punt on 500,000. But I think there's a good chance it's the other direction where it's like, man, I can't even bring myself to get up and go out there right now, even though it's costing me $500,000.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Trevon Diggs setting the record straight on rehab in a story in the morning news. That is the other side of this story and what might have bummed him out. He mentions in the story the perception that he's not working out hard forced him to release a documentary on YouTube called Seven. So that was kind of a direct response to the criticisms that had started coming. And, you know, Jerry Jones participated in this as well in the interview that he did talking about the rehab. He said, I was back for the first game last year. They said I was going to be back in October. I was back for week 1. So he said he was ahead of schedule last year and pulled it off, and that is his goal this year to pull it off as well, saying the rehab this time around is easier. He has no pain and could actually play now.
I'm hopeful, man. I mean, that'd be huge if Diggs doesn't have to miss any time and he's ready to go week 1. I know he was talking with Clarence Hill and mentioned like, hey, 2 years removed from the ACL. Javonte Williams has said the same thing. Naturally, you're just going to be stronger. You're going to feel more confident on that. I mean, it's got to be difficult. You work so hard to get back, and then boom, here's another serious injury, and I got to rehab all over again. So I don't know what to think in terms of expectations of what type of version of Trevon Diggs we'll get right away. But we've been robbed of seeing him and Deron Bland together on the field. It's been so unfortunate. If Diggs was there, Bland got hurt. It's been a handful of games. So I'm hopeful, man. That would make me feel much better about the secondary if you told me, hey, Diggs is going to be there week 1, and you're going to get at least an 85% version of the guy that you had in 2021 and 2022 when he was borderline all-pro.
I guess I'm more confident in Overshown, even though he tore all the ligaments in his knee. Those are things that are like, you know, repaired. The ligaments are rewoven back together. And then, you know, once they heal, you're kind of like structurally whole. This cartilage thing is just so weird. It's more about how is your knee going to, like, it doesn't hurt right now, months after the surgery, but how is it going to react to having to play 3 games in 10 days? Mm-hmm. And does that cartilage just totally dissolve, or is it going to be as good as the cartilage you were born with? And that's tricky, you know? So, and that's, you know, why a lot of times players like this don't come back well until their second year after the surgery. And if that's the case, I don't think Trevon Diggs will be around on the Cowboys, you know, after that. And that's tough. So he needs a big year, not only to stay on the Cowboys, but I think to remain market viable for free agency. So his motivation should be at an all-time high. I had a lot of fun today talking about Joe Milton with folks. If you didn't hear, you probably have by now. I'd love it if you could subscribe to How About Wow. It's all one word. It's my new YouTube channel where I'm talking about Cowboy stuff. Anyway, I did a short like 2 weeks ago that was kind of a throwaway. Like, hey, how good could Joe Milton be? Could he be Dak's eventual replacement? And in the comments and the views and the likes, I realized there is a lot of people out there that either believe in Joe Milton more than me or have lost faith in Dak Prescott to such an extent that they're looking at Joe Milton as the savior. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the number is, but at 877-881-1053, the Franklin Frankel injury attorney text line is open. I just want to know, how much are you buying the narrative that, hey, I was Joe Milton, I was COVID quarterback at Michigan, that was a weird deal, I transferred to Tennessee, then I'm back on the bench, then I get there and it's snap one read, and I get, one season's worth of starts. They never asked me to be quarterback. Then I get to New England. I start figuring things out. You saw it in preseason, didn't you? Then we get to week 18. Buffalo sits the majority of their starters, and I go out there and I complete my first 10 passes. I'm moving in the pocket to avoid pressure. I'm rolling out and hitting guys on the run. I'm actually looking off one receiver and going to a second and even once a third progression and finding that guy. Broken play, find a guy in the middle of the field for 50 yards. So how much are you buying that he just hasn't been asked to grow and progress because he was such a great athlete and he did enough to put up offense in college, and essentially his growth curve just started And maybe the Cowboys got lucky identifying a guy who can step in here and, I don't know, be effective as a second-year player. Could he be as good as Cooper Rush when it comes to just winning? I don't think so. But maybe developing on an arc that makes this realistic. Where are you guys with that?
Yeah, I mean, I buy that for sure. There's no way a guy like Joe Milton would become available if it wasn't for the unique circumstances of New England having the Drake May face of the franchise in his rookie year, showing like, obviously, okay, he's the guy. So, and they spent high-level draft assets on him. So just the fact that Milton was available at this time is pretty dang unique. And I'm with you. I think there's so many physical tools that he was able to get away with not having to do some of the other things from like a processing standpoint, and wasn't probably asked to do a lot of those things. So I'm super excited about just what the upside is and investing in him and learning from Dak and where this could all go. I think this is a ton of fun because the backup quarterback for the Cowboys has not been anything of excitement for a long time. This is now like, okay, he's super cheap, he's super young, and he's just scratching the surface.
Yeah, I don't know the last time backup quarterback was this exciting. Like Trey Lance had just kind of like dissolved already, and it never got exciting. I think John Kitna was pretty good. Kyle Orton was pretty good. But like when Dak was backing up Tony, it was just nothing. Oh, he's got to start. And he's amazing. Hey, he's going to start for 8 games. And then he just stayed the starter. But yeah, this is the most excitement I think I've covered on the Cowboys backup quarterback situation.
Yeah, I mean, because Dak's been here 10 years. And you can kind of see, like, hey, the writing's on the wall. If there's another injury, they're obviously in a contract that they can't get out of right now. But you do wonder, like, what's the future look like at that position? And there is always kind of a love affair in sports with the backup quarterback. And to have Joe Milton, who is physically gifted as all hell. I mean, it's tough to find somebody else that's got the arm strength and the physical ability that Joe Milton does. So there is. I mean, when we get to Oxnard, the storyline is going to be, how's Joe Milton looking? That all the videos of him throwing at practice, that stuff's going to pop off and go viral. So, I mean, we see it on the text, how people have been out on Dak for years. It's been, you can go back 5 years ago. There's been a polarizing debate, 50-50. Do you think Dak Prescott's the guy or not? So, yeah, I think that the Joe Milton experiment is going to be fascinating.
And especially now with the status of Dak, where at the age and the injury history, you know that you're one play away from him going down in a huge way again. Yeah. So you want something of excitement there. And I don't know, I guess Broadus is saying like it would be Will Grier stepping in immediately if Milton or if Dak got hurt. But I would think if it was a season-ending Dak injury like last year, I think they would run with Milton. Like, hey, we're not trying to win a single game here or two, biding time for Dak to come back. I think this would be unleash Milton and see what he can do. He needs plenty of reps.
Yeah, I mean, if you need 1 or 2 games, and I guess you think Grier is better, but if you're going to be a running team, I know Milton's not Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson or anything, but he can run fast and he can be a physical player. Why are we trading picks? Why are we trading valuable draft picks for guys if you're not going to throw them out there? I guess if Will Grier comes in mid-season, I'm going to think there's another wasted pick. This guy's got nothing. That's what I'm going to think. Okay, but most exciting storylines going into Oxnard now that we wrap up today minicamp. Milton as Zaraku, Blue and Maffa at running back. Like, I know Pickens and Lamb are going to be insane, and that is going to be the most highlights in camp that we've seen in a long time. That's booked, right? But out of intrigue, what could happen, those are my 3 right there.
Definitely.